There's this weird bias against Warner Brothers in DC Comics because of their distinction, or at least the film's distinction between the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Cinematic Universe, which is only one movie in, so they all just sort of congregate onto that. And once again, my issues with it was more just as a film, and I guess I'm not wholly opposed to the dark and gritty tone of the film.
It's kind of too, it's kind of what everyone's kind of going to nowadays. Just like you can either be gritty
or lighthearted.
Yeah.
There's no really in between. In comics, I feel like the DC comic books and Marvel comics to a degree is more of the in between sort of stuff, because not everyone knows exactly what the comics are like. They just kind of if you're going to adapt any of these characters in one way or another, you have to know what people are used to. And all you have to do is ask yourself, do they have any notable television shows that have been on for a long time? Because that's the public perception of these characters. That's what's in our combined consciousness, because step one was adapting it to a television show and changing some stuff here and there and making this digestible for an audience and taking out some of the slightly weirder aspects of comic books, but still keeping some amount of fantastical elements in there to entertain, the whole family, I guess. And now with film, you have to take another step and adapt it to a 3-act narrative structure, which is difficult if your cinematic universe is just mostly composed of that 3-act structure. As I said, it'd be a little bit difficult because that's I think it was a mistake. Marvel films were a mistake. I think it was a mistake to have it be a cinematic universe, because film is a once in a while sort of thing. I think it should be, because that's a huge investment, and you could fatigue quickly with the 3-act huge structure and all the marketing that comes before it. I mean,
just look at just like what happened, like The Hobbit and everything.
Yeah, that was just 3 movies.
Yeah,
3 movies coming out like 1 year apart.
By the third one, I was like, I don't really care about this anymore.
Yeah, you should have ended the last movie where this one began. Because actually, that scene was actually pretty good. I'm like, what the fuck? This is actually kind of tense. I'm actually enjoying Smaug tearing up the city and Bard trying to not to fucking get killed, everyone trying to escape. See, I just why didn't they just end the movie like this? We didn't need that elaborate action scene at the end of Desolation of Smorgasbord. And it's just you could have just. You have a whole battle to get to, You don't have to give us this opening scene. We don't have to start every movie out with an action-packed opening scene.
Yeah.
Nope,
that's what the simpletons and the cretins want.
I guess. The normie dum-dums out there. And I like the fact that Marvel is moving to television a little bit more. But they're only going to focus their television shows on superheroes that I like to call... whose powers aren't special effects or budget, or flexing on the budget, like Daredevil and Peggy Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's just normal action TV show budget with superheroes, and it's not going to be the same as.
Yeah, if you brought Iron Man on, that would look so stupid if he's trying to do repulsor blast and
They can't even afford the guy who's playing Iron Man to appear on screen.
No, but I'm saying even if he just showed up in his suit, which would probably be
even more expensive,
shittier CGI. It wouldn't ever he wouldn't leave the suit. He wouldn't he would just do his blasts every once in a while.
And he wouldn't say anything. Don't say anything because we have to get Robert on here. Don't mention that. I'm not paying the royalties.
He got punched in the beginning, so his voice module is broken. Can't talk. He's got peanut butter in his mouth. He's too busy.
An episode of Power Rangers did something similar to that. It was I think it was Dino Thunder. It was the one that came out 10 years ago or something, and that's the one where Tommy the White Ranger came back as the Black Ranger.
Oh, really?
And since they were filming in New Zealand for that run of Power Rangers, and currently I think they're still filming in New Zealand. Filming in New Zealand is cheaper.
Looks fancy as fuck.
Ask Peter Jackson. So he wanted to spend time with his family, so they made this episode where he was stuck in the Black Ranger suit, so they got one of the stunt doubles just to act out as Tommy, and he would do the voiceover over whatever, I guess over the phone, phoning it in literally. That's how they filmed Avatar: The Last Airbender, not the film, the show.
Really?
He would voice act from across the country because he had school and all that other stuff. So
Hey,
they spent the entire show just phoning in his performance, and I never knew that. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, if you can have equipment and studios out there and still gain audio levels that are like if he's actually like on his cell phone doing it, that'd be really ridiculous.
I mean literally phoning.
Yeah,
he's skyping it in. He's skyping it in. I'm gonna stop in New Zealand. I think we should give DC, or specifically Warner Brothers, a chance here. Because I'm not entirely in depth with DC comic books at this point. And a lot of people have been going on about, some of the race changes that's been happening in some of Marvel films specifically, because I'm not entirely in tune with Doctor Strange, but they got Tilda Swinton, who is a white woman, to play a role of an Asian man. And I think, and they also have that one guy who was in Children of Men, and he had the starring role in 12 Years a Slave. I forget his name. Chiwetel Ejiofor. I forget his name. He's a black actor, as one of the other villains, who's actually white in the movie. But he's a villain. But they changed his race. But he's a villain and he's black. But they changed the race of a white guy. But he's the villain. So people are really confused over this because, they changed the race of an Asian character who's male to a white female. And I'm wondering how certain sects of the internet will respond. Yeah, I'm wondering how certain people are going to respond to that. Because, on the other hand, you have a black guy who's going to be the villain in the movie. And yes, they changed the race, but he's also a villain. I'm wondering how some sects will respond to that. Some people are going, why does it always have to be this particular race that they change it to? I think the reason why they go for black actors sometimes for certain race changes with stuff like Jimmy Olsen, because Jimmy Olsen I think is a ginger. I don't know if that's a misnomer or something, but I think it's because statistically speaking, in terms of the population, there's less people with that sort of those physical attributes. So whenever they cast someone who's ginger or has red hair, they usually just cast someone who's white, but a non-ginger white person in that role, and they just dye their hair, or they don't dye it at all. Because Norman and Harry Osborn, they have red hair, and red hair is such a rare trait, so they just got 4 white guys throughout the entire run of these Spider-Man movies to play these characters without really changing their hair at all. And I believe the action figure of Norman Osborn had red hair, but I don't think Willem Dafoe, I don't think they changed his hair all that much. He just I don't think so. I don't recall. And I think writer shorthand for race or race anything is just essentially black at this point, because of the particular history of race in this country. When you have immigration, shorthand would be Hispanic people. Even though there's tons of different immigrants that might come into the country, when there's like stuff like terrorism, people are immediately associated with Islam or even people from the Middle East.
So there's one stereotypical thing to go for, when in fact it's a broader range of people committing these things. Yeah,
our brain immediately goes to this, and when writers are making these stories, that's what they do. They don't really break out from the mold all that much. So I think that's why. I think there's. Yeah, so I don't know what you're gonna do. This might sound racist, I guess, but I would like to see black characters who are villains show more screen time, because Black Manta, I believe he's actually an Aquaman villain. He's black, at least in the comic books. So it'd be nice to see something like that, because that would be a change. That'd be diversifying the villains as well. Yeah. That was probably horribly racist. I'm sorry. I just think Black Manta's. I just from visually, from what I've seen of him, his costume looks. I really love the way his costume looks. Sort of that classic sort of science fiction sort of look to it, And I can't wait for them to ruin it in the movie. I'm just kidding. Honestly, the costumes in Dawn of Justice, they look pretty good. You look at the Wonder Woman, Superman. We already seen Superman before, but the Batman's. It's actually pretty accurate to the comic book, and it looks like a pretty good adaptation. I don't know about Wonder Woman herself, because some of the complaints people have had for her was that she's too skinny to play Wonder Woman. The actual actress Gail, what's her face? She's really skinny. And they pictured a slightly more toned actress for the role.
And in Wonder Woman, she's got kind of muscles.
Some iterations have her slimmer, some regular, some toned. So there's a whole bunch of ways they could go from here. And I guess, an actress who's also kind of toned, but also well known. I guess they could have gone with Jessica Biel or Emily Blunt or something like that. I guess it's just me wanting to see either actresses in that outfit. Whatever. My concern with Gale isn't so much her body type, because she looks just fine in the costume, I suppose. She's not a bad looking woman. She's actually quite beautiful. My problem is I don't know how she can fucking act with that, with her having syrup in her mouth constantly.
It's a medical condition. She's got to keep that in there. All right, keeps her mouth moist. Oh my god. She got severe dry mouth. She needs all her syrup.
It sounds like her mouth is already dry because of the fucking syrup. It's like she has a wet mouth and she has to. I don't know. Because I think she was in some of the Fast and Furious movies.
Don't even look at me for those.
I don't know. I'm not crazy about her as an actress. In fact, I don't think she should act. I think she should just model or something. Because I'm not blown away by it. I'm not excited about it. But the costumes, the Batmobile has actually grown on me. The longer I look at it, it's the more I actually kind of like it. I don't know how people are. I don't know how anyone else feels about it. But it's like they combined the Tumbler from the Nolan films and with the sort of classic sort of mobile look that they always usually go for in Batman comic books and older iterations of the design.
So the whole vehicle tumbles.
It's growing on me, and I think they got something. They got something here. It's different, but it's faithful, and no one really knows where it can go from here. And I think that's why it's inciting some confusion from people and anger. Because it is being different. And, once again, if you want to know how people view these characters, you just got to look back at the popular TV shows that they had, and then look at the movies that were made. With Batman, you had the Adam West TV show. With Superman, you had the Super Friends, I think. When did Super Friends come out? Was that 80s or 70s? Superman already had loads of iterations before, like the movie serials and the cartoon that came out before it. So that sort of painted a picture of what people know about the character when Richard Donner made the Superman movies. And you have that Hulk television show, which painted a picture of how people feel about the Hulk before you have the Hulk animated show and the Hulk film that came out in 2003, which is why it weirded so many people out because of how, generally as a film, how different it was, how kind of bizarre it was structured.
That's the thing, because Hulk was kind of not that kind of big at that time.
Yeah.
And then the movie itself didn't take a very, original. Well, it
was too original, actually.
Yeah, it didn't take the standard superhero path. It was kind of
didn't take the standard film path.
Yeah. Well, that too.
So
because it tried to make itself like a comic, kind of.
Yeah, literally.
It had panel wipes and stuff like that, which was it didn't even. It felt like just part of it was in PowerPoint or whatever.
Yeah. Because comics are, it's like sequential art, right? It's trying to imitate literally the visual appearance of sequential art, but
that's what movies start out as. They start out as you see the screenplay or all the comic panels of stuff playing out before they actually either animate it or film it.
Yeah. With Spider-Man, you have loads of television shows leading up to the 2002 film. You have that's what's in everyone's mind. So when you go against that, you are gonna piss some hardcore fans off. But the people who aren't so acquainted with the character, if you tell a good story, they'll attach themselves to whatever original thing you put in the film, because that's what Bruce Timm and Paul Dini ran into. The guys who worked on the animated series, they changed some things and they did some original things. Like they created Harley Quinn. They created the Heart of Ice origin story for Mr. Freeze. That pissed some people off. But the people who weren't acquainted with that, the kids who are adults now, they thought this was amazing. So they are attached to that. And everyone and other people who weren't so acquainted with it. And that's why they integrated some of the characters that they created into the actual continuity, because it was so well done. And now you have, a character that was created 20 years ago in a TV show, one of the most prominent people in Batman's arsenal or Batman's rogues gallery, and that's Harley Quinn. That's amazing to me. A television show, a cartoon show, that was just a marketing thing for the sequel to the Batman movies, which ran into the fucking ground, it became something of its own in a really significant way. You know, we're finally going to see her on the big screen.
Yeah.
So that's amazing to me, and it's weird how these parallel events are mimicking each other because they're doing something new, and it's pissing some people off, and I don't know, because Marvel changes stuff all the time, and they seemingly get a pass unless they go too far, like with what's his name? It wasn't Hank Pym. They're not doing Hank Pym for Ant-Man. It's someone else. I forget his name. And they changed some stuff up with the Mandarin.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why they changed the Mandarin, and I would like to present some of the stuff that's happening with Doctor Strange, is because those roles were kind of stereotypical, or they're viewed as stereotypical, and you have box office to think of, and offending certain people.
Like, if the Mandarin scrolled out in full, like, Chinese, like, garment, and was like, you know, how he was in the books, which was pretty much like this big Chinese nationalist guy with, like, you know, his entire, like, palace and everything. It'd be kind of hard to make that work.
Yeah, like, even the Iron Man cartoon show, they made him green. I don't know if he's green in any of the comics, because I have some of the Tales of Suspense where he makes his first appearance. I don't have them in color. For some of the stuff I remember, I think he was just flesh toned, so he wasn't actually.
But like his whole thing was like he was like super old, so I guess he could pull off being like a different skin color. But
I suppose. And they just kind of copped out of that, having a serious villain who was intimidating and making him into a joke as well. So they have to. I get they don't want to be like DC. I get they don't want to take everything seriously, but you know, this is the villain. We have to, you know, be afraid of this guy or hate this guy or something.
Especially when in that movie the other villain they gave us was so stupid.
Which one?
Iron Man 3.
Oh.
The guy who just
Guy Pearce?
Yeah, the guy
literally.
Who you just didn't accept, who didn't follow him to the roof to listen to his genius idea.
Yeah. And they kind of, I don't know if this was like a reference or that was just something they did on accident. They kind of, it was kind of like Batman Forever with the Riddler.
Yeah.
In a way. And then Spider-Man 2, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, the same fucking thing. Like they had that those thick-rimmed glasses and the get-up and everything. It's just like
these people who just can't take like rejection, even though you're doing it, like you're trying to get acceptance in the wrong sort of way.
Yeah, you're doing fine. Just, I don't know why. I don't
like if he would have, I don't know, worked on his like thesis or like it just like I talked to different people and not gone the I'm just gonna turn into a super mutant super heat guy and kill everyone. Yeah. He probably could have, you know, got a job.
I'm trying to provide a counterpoint, but I don't remember anything that happens in the movie. Last time I talked about it, I said, yeah, I thought I had fun. I enjoyed it. No, I just can't think of anything. Once again, all that's coming in my head is Gwyneth Paltrow's midsection. I feel like an idiot now. I'm sorry. I remember, you ever see that image that someone made comparing Marvel's risk-taking skills compared to DC? Mm-hmm. Like, okay, there's this image from Man of Steel, and it's when Clark's sitting on that the back of the pickup truck, and Pa Kent is talking to him. The caption at the bottom says, "Sorry, we just can't make one. We don't think audiences are ready for a Wonder Woman film." And on the bottom of the image it has Rocket Raccoon, and it says, Marvel's like, "Here's a talking raccoon." And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, so you think the inclusion of other people into their films is like women and people who aren't whites? You think that's the equivalent of a talking raccoon? Okay, I guess.
Fine. Yeah, that seems like a weird point to make about the Man of Steel. Like, why there's no Wonder Woman? It's like, because there's no Wonder Woman. Like,
well, I guess like she doesn't have her own film yet.
Oh yeah.
And I think that was made back when they were still trying to get it going. And I think they're still trying to make the Wonder Woman film. And I have to ask Marvel, where's the Black Widow film, guys? Why aren't you guys doing the Black Widow film? Mm-hmm. And where's Rocket Raccoon's own film? Because he wasn't the star of that film. I mean, he was one of the main characters, and he carried a portion of the film himself, but he wasn't like the star. That was Chris Pratt. That was
where's the Groot movie? Come on.
I don't know. I'm getting sick of people going, "We need spin-offs of this, and that, please. I want just a movie just about this character."
It's like, no.
Yeah. Hey, you guys keep going on about. I'm assuming these are different people talking. Like, oh, we had to stop. making so many different iterations of this character, but you want so many spin-offs. I'm assuming that those are two different groups of people.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's not cognitive dissonance. It might be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna. It's not. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
But we don't need to make one movie for every single character. What's great about those characters is how they interact with each other. And if you remove that aspect, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
There is no point. It's just you're just whatever. Fuck off. And you can't do a Black Widow movie because once again, I don't think a movie about her would be very interesting.
No, she's such a side character.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she can fight like sort of as well as everyone else. I mean, she can hold her own, but
yeah.
And honestly, it would have to be her like sneaking around, like spying. But then at that point, like, that wouldn't be a superhero movie.
Yeah, you already have Peggy Carter.
Mm-hmm.
That's good enough, right? I mean, she has her own TV show, so there you go. Yeah. And that's interesting too, because you get to see, foreshadowing. I guess I don't know. I haven't watched the show. I have to ask my mom. She watches it. She's a normie. She's one of the
movies leave, movies get out.
I'm getting a better perspective on what they're doing with Suicide Squad, and yeah, I think they're just trying to break from the mold a little bit, because I think traditionally Joker has been done differently in every other iteration of his character.
Mm-hmm.
People always react badly to it because they want to see the Joker.
Yeah.
And you know which Joker I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know which Joker I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure you know?
Yeah.
Sure you know which
talk
Joker?
about that Mark Hamill Joker.
Exactly. That's it.
Talk about that one.
Same one that was in the Arkham games. Like,
mm-hmm.
You want a movie? Okay, I get it. People want Batman the Animated Series the movie. That's fine. But not every movie has to be that iteration.
Yeah.
And you guys already have Batman the Animated Series the movie. It's called Batman the Animated Series the movie. It came out in like 1993 or something. Also known as Mask of the Phantasm, not just fucking around. You guys got another one, right? Wasn't there another Batman? I don't know. You guys got TV movies. You guys got the Justice League. Not everything has to be that in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You got Arkham Knight coming out in a week. I think it's coming out in a week, right?
Oh, I'm not sure. Could be though.
Yeah, I like how they open up the E3 trailer with the Joker burning.
Oh, really?
Because there was so much speculation for 4 years. Speculation of what happened to the Joker. Oh, I probably should. Spoilers for Arkham City, guys. Joker. Yeah, you're going to go and you just fucking skip this. Joker dies, and there was speculation for like 4 years whether or not he was dead or not. Because the general rules of character death, if it's off screen, they're fucking alive.
Yep.
If there's a body, he can be revived. So they're just like, okay, fine. We're gonna open up the trailer with burning the body up.
Burning the body, putting the ashes, launching the ashes into the sun.
You know what's bad about all of that?
What?
I don't believe it for a goddamn second. I don't know why. I just been burned. Ironically enough, I've been burned on this so many times. I don't believe it. I just don't fucking believe it.
It's gonna be like a fake prop Joker.
Oh, because Clayface?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Are you kidding me?
It's gonna be Clayface.
Oh, fuck. I don't know what happened to Clayface. Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, you don't know.
I just ruined the game. God damn it, I knew it. I didn't believe it. I couldn't put my finger on it. I just had to think about it for a second.
Yeah, dude.
I am genuinely upset.
If this actually happens, it's gonna be crazy.
Fuck. Oh, man.
As soon as the fire hits him, he's gonna start firing like a pie, just turned up like brittle clay.
Because they did that in the animated series. The Clayface faked his own death.
Yeah.
That's twice. He faked his death in the video game. He faked his death in the animated series, and he probably faked his death here too. It's perfectly possible. They got me. They almost got me.
I got you.
Yeah, if I'm right about this, I'm gonna lose. Because I was right about who dying.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
I felt like shit. It wouldn't be so bad. 2 reasons why it wouldn't be so bad. One, there are other famous people who died this year that I didn't acknowledge, who might have died. And he was the very first person on the list. I rewatched the video recently. He was the very first person on the list.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So let's look at those death pools. Who got paid out?
Jeez. He lived a long
life. Oh yeah, I was gonna say
yes.
as soon as when I saw that on Reddit, everything else was just like his accomplishments that he did, and it was just a huge list of shit. And I'm like, whoa. So yeah, he did live like a full life.
Yeah. I was watching a documentary, a behind-the-scenes thing from episode 2, like a couple of days before he died, actually.
Yeah.
People always have the stories. Oh, I was watching this that he was in before he died. Oh, it was so weird. Isn't that weird, guys? What's the chances of that happening? Very high, because he was in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Nothing special about you motherfuckers. Or me.
You normies.
Yeah, fucking normies. That's so weird. It's like it's meant to happen. It was him. It was... That part of the DVD was about how they were transferring some of the characters and some of the aspects of the movie to CGI, and they were going over how they were making Yoda. And it was actually from the Red Letter Media bit when he's talking about, oh, he's finally gonna have to take out that little laser sword and go to town. That's something that everyone's been waiting for. And the other guy over there is just nodding skeptically. And he actually has a kind of a big part in some of the behind the scenes stuff because he's one of the special effects supervisors, I think. Throughout all 3 of the prequel films, so just watching him try to describe what's happening, I kind of feel like there's a little hint of something underneath, and I feel kind of sorry for him.
Yeah. Because
everyone goes on how awful the special effects were. I don't think people, blame people like him. They actually just blame George Lucas, because when they're asking him questions and everything, like some of the answers he's giving is just like he doesn't kind of care or know.
They're all half-assed.
Like, yeah, he's just sort of sitting there, slumped in his chair like this with his fingers.
He's like, even at the scene we were just talking about, he's like, yeah, he's really gonna pull that thing out and go to town on him.
Yeah. And they were talking about how the light's supposed to be hitting Yoda's eye or his ears, and how the blood's supposed to look, like what color it's supposed to be. He's like, oh, green, make it green, I guess. Yeah. I haven't really thought about it. Green. I'm not just copying the Christmas special. I actually just watched it, and I watched both, and they're like, oh, that's from there. Okay. I remember actually watching that as a kid, right? And I'm going, oh, okay, wow, that's interesting. So I actually remember this stuff, okay? So I can actually recall it from memory, not just go, oh, I watched Red Letter Media, now I watch behind-the-scenes stuff. No, I actually remember watching the Red Letter Media videos for the first time and going, I remember watching that, I remember that. Whatever, I don't give a shit. I clearly do give a shit. And when they get to Christopher Lee, because he's supposed to fight Yoda.
Yeah.
You see the stunt double. He has on the Christopher Lee makeup and everything. So every wide shot you see of them fighting, that's a stunt double, obviously. And it's a stunt double just for the fighting aspect. The way Christopher Lee described it is like, my arms work just fine. It's my legs that are the problem. They don't move as fast as they used to. So in all the tighter shots they had, Christopher Lee, moving the lightsaber around. Because he's actually pretty spry doing that shit. He was I'm assuming he was in his 80s when they were filming that. So that's amazing. Yeah. Amazing. I don't think I'll be able to move my arms around like a fucking like a Jedi or Sith or whatever.
Yeah, I'm in my 80s.
Yeah, fuck that shit. That's all I got. This hand is just fine though. This hand doesn't get that much attention.
It's your sword arm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it, my sword arm. So that explains some of the fight scenes in episode 2, the way they shot it and everything. And it's still commendable for doing some of that at that age, especially considering he was filming Lord of the Rings at the same time, because I think they were filming it in 2001, and he was also filming Lord of the Rings, so he was doing both at the same time. That's freaking difficult. That's for anyone of any age. So yeah. I don't want to even say he did it. It was good in spite of his age. Maybe it's good because of his age.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm ending a lot of these with I don't know whatever because I don't want to sound like I know everything. I guess I trust my opinion enough to speak to throw it into a microphone. I guess I don't. Whatever. So good on him. Good on him. Yeah. He was actually one of the best parts of those films.
And even when you get to that age, you don't have to be working. Exactly. And he did. He just kept working because he
loves the job. Yeah. And I'm fucking cutting him out of Return of the King, and I guess this time around, Peter Jackson's just like, fine, I'll put you in the movie even though you weren't in the fucking story at this point. Fine.
See, I just want to work.
Yeah.
Give me a role.
So I guess when he appeared in when he appeared in Battle of the Five Armies, it's his last time playing Saruman. I guess they did the same thing in terms of how he was fighting. They just cut to him. I don't even know if he was good with his arms at that point. Cause that's 10 years later.
If I recall, that scene did not look good.
Yeah.
Because they were just fighting those wraiths, and they were just kind of those wraiths were just kind of taking it.
Yeah.
and dying over and
over. It's just still sort of weird seeing someone like Christopher Lee move like that, even though it's not really him. But still, I just seeing an older character move like that is kind of surreal. I kind of like that. Another aspect of the prequel movies, because I want to talk about the prequel movies, because I don't think we ever talked about Star Wars for an extended length on any of these ever. No. Like how I don't talk about video games, or how I don't talk about TV shows I like to watch, because no matter what TV show you talk about, there's always someone out there who can call you a pleb for liking it, because to be on TV, you have to inherently be interesting enough for a lot of people to watch it. There is no obscure television. There can be obscure film, obscure comic books, obscure music. There can't be obscure television. That's what made television special, and that's why it's still going on. Because it has to be popular for it to work. It has to be marketable for a certain amount of time, I think. Well, I went on a tangent there. What the fuck? Another aspect of the prequels I like is the music. Yeah. Yeah. It's.
I mean, you still got a good composer.
Yeah, it's the same composer who was on the original films, and he, because John Williams is old. I don't remember how old he is, but he has to be at least in his 70s. And throughout all these celebrity deaths, I felt pretty bad. Some of them I felt indifferent to. But if John Williams dies, I probably will genuinely cry. That's how much I like John Williams' music. You don't understand how fucking brilliant I think he is. I know people say that, but no. I fucking mean it, alright? He's one of the greatest film composers of all time. One of the greatest. I'm not... he is. He just is. The way I describe... It's just... He makes it look so effortless. I listen to his music and I try to go into symphonic orchestra and try to emulate that. I just can't. I listen to the music. Every single track I listen to for, like, Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith, I hear something different every single time that my mind can follow throughout that specific sequence or that part of the track. And I feel like most people don't appreciate those scores the way I do, because I'm more into that kind of music. Not to say I'm like, oh yeah, I like it better than you. Just certain tracks I never hear anyone talk about, like when people want to list a memorable track he did recently, they'll cite stuff like Across the Stars from Attack of the Clones. They'll cite Battle of the Heroes, and those are all good. They're a little... I don't know. I find myself enjoying the other ones more because I already know about this because I listen to it so much. Because, recently I dug out my Revenge of the Sith CD and I ripped it to my computer so I can put it on my iPod or iPhone and everything, and just listening to it again after such a long time. I appreciate certain tracks more than I did, because I think the thing about Across the Stars and Battle of the Heroes, that's a very safe, easy to follow melody, I suppose, because Across the Stars goes dun, 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 dun. That's pretty good. It's pretty memorable as either. And with Battle of the Heroes, it's dun, 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 dun. And it's pretty much, I like to think of Battle of the Heroes as like the sister or the sibling to Duel of the Fates, because they kind of have that same sort of, not really that same sort of sound, I think, because they both start out with progressing. Yeah. It just, they both pretty much. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I do. I know Duel of the Fates.
I know. I can't play them because I'll get the video deleted, so I have to sound it out like an idiot. I think it's permissible if you're talking about music. I don't know. No. I'm not going to risk it. Yeah. I think it's only if you're talking about movies and you have to format it in a way where the picture is actually smaller, so the copyright thing doesn't automatically pick it up and delete your video. So it's that tiny little screen up there on the brick wall behind us. You see it? Don't nod. No one can hear you nodding.
I do.
Okay, there you go. God, fucking acknowledge me vocally.
I'm sorry. They can't pick up my video.
They can't
hear. I thought this was a video podcast. I've been making faces this whole time.
What? I was looking at the... What? Oh, no. There's no way I'm confident enough to film myself yet. I'll probably just, do an episode, oh, wow, this is two real guys, and I'll just be up in, the Spider-Man costume, and everyone else will be just
Everything else is Legos, but you're a live-action Spider-Man.
Oh, that'd be just weird.
You just shrink you down and green screen yourself.
And I even shrink me down. I just walk up to the actual set and I just knock everything over. Oh shit! I'm sorry, guys. And you guys are just like, oh god.
Yeah, there's just the set, and it's just like a panned out shot of like you're like, I'll save you, Mary Jane. And you just collapse and fall on your city.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to step on you. Sam, where are you? Oh fuck! He must have fallen under the cabinet. God damn it! I'll never get him back now. He's gonna be stuck in there for a long time.
Yeah, he's still in space.
Oh, I mean in space.
So, we already can't get him back. We're still trying.
Set controls to outer space now, flying higher than ever before. Rangers in space, go Power Rangers, go Power Rangers, go Power Rangers, go, 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 fly, go. I'm sorry.
I mean, you can keep going.
You keep going.
If you can. I'm not gonna stop you, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I chickened out. I got kind of embarrassed and self-conscious, so I stopped. So if John Williams actually dies,
yeah,
if you hear the news, I will. This is not just me trying to make a joke, and I guess this is me showing a bit of my emotional side and slight vulnerability, I suppose. Fuck me for feeling something, right? I will probably feel like really bad, like I might actually like shed a tear or something. I'm not even joking.
I'm pretty sure other people will. Like,
he hasn't even done with episode 7 yet. What the fuck, man? Someone just take the score sheets. Get Michael Giacchino or John Powell to do it, please. He's not working on the next Kung Fu Panda movie. Get John Powell to do it.
Did we get another Kung Fu Panda movie?
Yeah, I kind of like the Kung Fu Panda movies.
No, I can't.
They're okay. They're some of the better stuff that DreamWorks has done. A fuck ton better than Megamind or whatever it was.
Oh god, yeah.
And Monsters vs. Aliens.
Who did Mars Needs Moms? Did you hear about that?
That was same people did Polar Express. That was
right.
I gotta go back to the future. Robert Zemeckis. That's it.
Zemeckis.
Yes,
that's right.
He did this really weird Hidden Valley. No, not Hidden Valley.
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley. Not the
Uncanny Valley.
Hidden Valley is either Lord of the Rings or the dressing.
The
ranch dressing. Hidden Valley ranch dressing.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's real or not. There could be people in that. That's uncanny.
Yeah. There's actually, like in the commercials for Hidden Valley Ranch, they actually show people like living in the Hidden Valley. It's just like the plain Jane pastel shirt wearing suburbanites.
Vegetable mongers.
There's no meat here.
Yeah.
And if someone eats meat, they have to be either executed or they are shunned, and they are fucking coffee blocking my neurotransmitters. I can't think of anything right now.
Just drink a 5-hour energy.
That's exactly my fucking problem. Caffeine is blocking my neurotransmitters. Every time I try to think of something, too much happens and I can't focus on the one thing. I think that's what caffeine does to your brain. I mean, my brain's already smaller, so it has less space to travel. So there's less neurons, so I can't fucking think.
No,
your big old brain is so much bigger
since
than
there's less.
I can't think like you can. I'm sorry.
Half of this is all meatballs and pasta.
Meatballs in our head.
That's all we Italians get.
Brains. Actually, brains do look delicious. You guys should cook up some brains. Your dad should cook us some brains, because brains actually look pretty good. Brains look disturbingly delicious for being brains. I'm not even joking.
So, what about Superman?
What? Oh, I'm talking about Star Wars. I'm talking about John Williams.
I'm just trying to get off brains. That's what I'm trying to get off of.
Hey, man, it's weird. I don't even like it, alright? Someone showed a picture of brains, and everyone's just like, that dude, that looks...
I'm trying to get off of brains, Reggie.
Brains! I was a zombie the whole time. It's like the end of Shaun of the Dead.
I'm a Frankenstein.
That's not how Frankenstein's work. That's not how Frankenstein's work. There's not like a number of Frankensteins.
Frankenstein. I got the Franken knives. All right.
It doesn't make any sense. You can be like, there can be different werewolves. There can be different vampires. You can't be like different Frankensteins. You can't be a family of Frankensteins. It's just retard.
Have you seen the Munsters? There was a Franken family.
I don't care how old the idea is. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, the prequels. Yeah, I appreciate the music and, Indiana Jones and Star Wars and other stuff he's done, like Memoirs of a Geisha. I don't think anyone gives a shit about Memoirs of a Geisha, but I think the score for that is fucking brilliant. He's always good. He's always good. Even the stuff he's doing now, his contemporaries who are either long dead or just don't give a shit anymore, he's still damn good. You know? And here's a hint. Here's a hint of how good the score is. If they use it in the trailer, if they use the score in the trailer and not just something they bought offline, then the score is probably good, or they're really excited about the score. So that's what happened with Inception and Chappie and a lot of the every single Star Wars movie except for the first one, obviously, because they didn't finish the score by then.
Oh yeah.
The Batman movies, all the trailers, I think, had the score in it. You know, they had that whooshing bat sound effect, or cape effect. I love that. Like, that's Batman, you know? It's just sound effects. They made sound effects memorable in its own way and iconic. I love that. I love it when people take unconventional means and, I don't know.
I remember people trying something new. Not just the same old shit.
It's very Kubrick-y. Kubrick-ish.
Kubrick-y?
Yeah.
Kubrick adjacent?
It's very reminiscent of Stanley Kubrick. Like with stuff like The Shining in 2001: A Space Odyssey, where some of the score is just like noise.
Yeah.
That's what some of the Dark Knight was for a score like Why So Serious. It was sort of kind of close to post-industrial, I think. But some of the score was just like noise. Just noise.
Yeah.
And I like that. I mean, some people called it unlistenable to. I'm not one of those people. And I wouldn't recommend it to anyone else because the only person I know who would probably listen to it, other than you, is probably me, and maybe not even you. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about Why So Serious, the track. I don't know if you listened to it.
No, I haven't listened to it. I mean, I've seen the movie. You probably heard it in the movie.
Yeah, you hear it in the movie. It's that noise whenever the Joker goes on.
Yeah.
And when it gets a little bit more silent, it goes dun, 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 dun. Something like that. Yeah, you can tell how unlistenable it is by how I'm humming it out. There was this. I wasn't linked to this, right? But someone in the comment section somewhere, I forget where, they were talking about the effects in Star Wars and how bad it looked, and someone actually linked them to a page on I think theforce.net. I'm assuming, I'm just from memory, theforce.net, because it's one of those internet forums that have been going on for well over a decade and a half. Like, it's a forum that's older than some of the people who are posting on it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. You know, it's crazy that the internet has been going on for this long so far. Because there are people who are subscribed to my channel.
I thought the internet would have just destroyed us as a human race.
No, it's just, I don't know.
I thought we would have been long dead.
Are you being serious or are you just making fun?
Yeah, I don't think we would have made it to 2000. Y2K should have killed us all.
Yeah,
I'm lucky.
I'm just, there are people who are just growing up just with the internet. And with some of us who were born in the in-between years, we kind of had halfway no internet and halfway nothing but the internet. And now we have an entire generation
who was born mobile. Oh, God.
And it's just as terrifying as that fucking conference, whatever thing. So this Force.net has been up since like 97 or something, 98. So it was around the time the first one came out. So there are users still posting to this very day who were posting in 1999. And the oldest internet anything that I have that's probably gone by now is RuneScape. And that's like 10, maybe 11 years at the very most for me. I don't know about you.
Of what?
Anything I've had that was online or anything.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure my first online experience was RuneScape as well.
Yeah. So, that's not very impressive for some of the other veterans who...
Yeah, I didn't have internet for, like, a while. Like, maybe when I was, like, 11 or 12, 13, around then. We actually got internet. Before then, it was all... console gaming and stuff like that, which was, still in full swing at that time.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get internet until 2003, I think. So I had a little bit more leeway. I think maybe even before then, because I remember going on to, like, Nickelodeon and CartoonNetwork.com and playing some of the games they had on there. So before then,
I would always go to, like, a friend's house and do... Like, I would still do that, but, like, we didn't have a connection. It was, like, I had to go over somewhere to play that.
Shit posting on the chins, on the chans.
No.
Because it was around then, in 2003.
I was on Dig. All right, I'm a dig baby.
So, there's posters who've been posting there longer than some of the people who are posting right now have even been alive, and that's incredible to me. One of the threads that is ongoing since 2013 was the effects in the prequel films, and I think the general consensus is the effects in Phantom Menace were alright. They looked convincingly enough for the time. However, Episode 2 and Episode 3, they look horrible. Yeah. They all look fakey fake. Even for the time, it's just too much, and it's just not colored right, and the textures wrong. All of it is fake, and it's because of the abundance of special effects and the poor execution of special effects. And some of the stuff they were posting in the thread was, no, here's some practical stuff. There's actually a lot of practical effects, not just in the Phantom Menace, but just in Attack of the Clones. Some of the establishing shots for the arena and the diner with the guy with the multiple arms.
Mm-hmm.
Remember
Grievous?
The CGI guy with the multiple arms who owned that diner, the 50s Cafe.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Hey, old buddy.
Sir Ian McKellen, he's a practical effect.
He's not even in these movies. You're thinking of Christopher Lee.
Fuck.
The one...
No.
Ian McKellen wasn't in Star Wars.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry, he isn't in Star Wars yet.
Yeah, we don't know.
You gotta hurry up before, he kicks the bucket too.
No. He's Gandalf. He's gonna last forever.
No, Stan Lee will suck the life force out of him.
No! Don't touch him! Don't touch him!
You just see, the way he just sucks the life out of someone by just putting their mouth on them. You just see the mustache and the glasses. And, I
don't know. He walks around with a Dracula cape and holds it in front of him like that.
He always has a cape, though. He's Stan Lee. You scared the shit out of me. Okay, and I'm assuming a lot of the people, at least in the thread and on the forum as well, really like the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
They like the prequels.
Or they're trying to find something to like about the prequels.
Some of them might. Yeah, I'm just trying to generalize here, not in a negative sense, but trying to get a good consensus of how they feel about it. And I think most people posting in the thread, they prefer the prequels. They like the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of the things that people have been saying about it is incorrect.
Yeah.
And I think that people should do some more research on the prequels just to get that out there. Of course, I already knew that about the prequels because I watched the behind-the-scenes stuff, as I said before. So I knew that some of that stuff was... some of the shots of Coruscant were actually practical effects. Or miniatures. But the problem with that is... they didn't look like that, and that's what confused me at the time. It confused my brain. I thought it was CGI because of how, brightly lit it was,
yeah.
the color contrast and everything. And some of the people actually addressed that point because it's mostly just confusion that a lot of us have, and they're just like, oh well, if a special effect confuses you, then I guess it did its job, which is fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of taking a bit of a broader look at my particular problem and everyone else's problem. It's not that we were confused this way, whereas we thought that a practical effect wasn't a practical effect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, a practical effect was a practical effect, and we didn't know. It was just that we thought it looked fake.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's real or fake, whether it's real thing
right.
or it just looked off. And that was my problem with it. And I was wondering, it was because certain comments you can make about a certain aspect of a film can really paint a negative or positive light for it. Like if someone's makeup, like some of the if you have a whole bunch of makeup on,
mm-hmm.
right? You got shit on your face, right? And it looks CGI, or it looks off. Someone's going to say it looks fake. It looks like it's CGI. And someone goes, oh, it's not CGI. It was actual real makeup. That means the effect was good. No. It means it lacks any weight. The texture's off. It doesn't move right.
If it's distracting in any way, then it didn't do its job. Practical or not.
Yeah, if you think it's makeup, it was actually CGI, that means it has weight to it. It looks real.
Mm-hmm.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
It's a misunderstanding, but it's a positive misunderstanding for that aspect of a film. And this is pretty much the same thing. We have miniatures that look like CGI, and that's not really a compliment. That's more of insult, I guess. And I feel bad because, you know, everyone who worked on these prequel movies, when you actually watch some of the stuff they did on Episode 3 and how painstaking it was, it really is as painstaking as the guy, as Mr. Plinkett said it was. Okay, it's just emails, apparently. It's I feel bad for these guys, man, because it just seems so complicated, because they're just like, yeah, we gotta, you know, reorganize where they are in a scene. If we have a really tight shot of them in front of the green screen and they're fighting, we have to do all this ADR because you can't record the sound of them fighting in the green screen. All these, every single shot you have to make, you know, you have to recreate the CGI background for that. You have to light certain tiny little things here and there. And they do have some practical effects, like some of the stuff with the Mustafar stuff. They actually had like a practical landscape for the lava mountain, or the lava waterfall thing.
Yeah.
So, and that was impressive, but it looked incredibly fake on screen.
Oh my god, that whole sequence was entirely too long and too drawn out.
Yeah. And I was wondering, why do the effects in The Phantom Menace look more convincing than these other two movies? It's older. It has probably around the same number of visual effect shots as the other prequel films. What makes it different? Mm-hmm. And a couple of years ago, I was reading those world record books. You know, the big ones.
The Guinness.
Yeah, the Guinness World Record books. And it cited Attack of the Clones as one of the first films to be filmed entirely in digital. The first big, you know, feature-length film with digital cameras. And at the time, I thought, oh, that's a fun tidbit. That's cool. Digital's cool. That's all cool. Okay, great. Moving on. And then when I actually sat and thought about it, it's like, oh shit! I think I get it now. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that it was filmed in digital.
Yeah.
And made the special effects look worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That was the issue. Because Phantom Menace, I actually looked it up. It's true. Phantom Menace filmed the actual genuine film, and Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith, digital cameras. So all the effects looked awful.
Yeah.
It looked worse. So that's it. So technically, people are kind of still right, because it's the digital effects of the camera to a degree making everything look worse. You know, it's the texture of the sets look off.
Mm-hmm.
The lighting looks off. I think it's because, you know, this is one of the first, you know, feature-length films with this particular camera, and they didn't really know how to
compensate.
I guess, you know, to work around it, because it's a whole new monster. It's a whole new way of filming stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the way they shot things, the way they colored certain things, it had to be. I mean, they were saying stuff like, you know, when you had to shoot on film, you'd have to, you know, you have to adjust it in post. When you're filming in digital, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, and that's probably an offhand comment. I don't know if it's entirely true, but I think they didn't adjust it as much as they probably could have. Mm-hmm. They probably just let it be, because they thought, you know, hey, the settings are just fine on the camera. Let's not adjust it. I don't want to believe that. That doesn't seem right. But at the very least, it seems like they didn't adjust it to the level that they probably should have, like they would with any other film. And, you know, we kind of brought this up earlier, but there's a weird parallel with the Hobbit films, which was also filmed completely in digital.
Yeah.
And the effects looked kind of bad in those.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When you actually look back at how they filmed it, some of the stuff they did, like exactly the way they did with some of the techniques that they used, was exactly the same as in Fellowship of the Ring, like with Bag End. Some of the stuff was the same. Some of it was just a refined version of it, but with all with the actual, you know, digital cameras and everything. Sam's playing Civ. Yes. Yeah. As we're.
Yeah, dude's in space. He's trying to command his fleet.
So you know, when I look at the behind the scenes stuff on The Hobbit, and they're describing how painstakingly difficult it was for them to make some of this stuff, and you kind of feel bad that it all looks kind of like shit.
Yeah.
In post, because not even post, as they're filming it, they're making it look worse because of the digital cameras, and they're having to compensate for some of the colors that are on screen. You know, how they do the makeup.
Yeah.
And the way they, you know, make Bilbo's clothing and everyone else's clothing. Because some of the makeup in some of the scenes looked kind of off.
Oh, yeah.
The coloring of the faces. It's because it's so rich. I'm sorry, let me think. It's so it's so rich that they have to color things a certain way on set, so they can dull it out.
Yeah,
something like that. And it's just they're overcomplicating the filmmaking process, especially with the 3D and 48 frames per second.
Oh yeah,
it's the same deal. You know, you have these new aspects of film, and you're just throwing it in there just because, and you're actually hurting the film in the long run. Because no one comes back and going, yeah, 48 frames, that was a great idea. Yeah. No one gives a shit. You know, no one cares. You know, and it's not going to age well at all. And the prequel films haven't aged all as well. It doesn't matter if they're using the same filming techniques. They fucking ruined it by, you know, taking too big of a risk with some of the technology that they're using, and it bit them in the ass. I think digital filmmaking is just fine for when used correctly. If you're an independent filmmaker, Marvel uses digital cameras too, and it works just fine for them. I mean, my exception would be Captain America and Thor, because it had that stupid blur thing whenever something was moving across the screen, and that made the sets look really fake too. Maybe because the sets were fake. Same problem with that John Dillinger movie. I felt like that was the wrong kind of camera to use for a period piece, because it's so obviously a digital camera. I think it's the same type of digital camera they used for the prequels. I'm not sure. I looked up the other cameras, or I'm sorry, the other films that camera was used for, and you kind of just got to sit back and go, God damn, that was a bad choice, because those films look kind of awful now. I mean, it was revolutionary to a degree, and some people are citing, hey, it wasn't for Jar Jar Binks. If it wasn't for Jar Jar Binks, we wouldn't have some of the great. We wouldn't successfully integrated visual effects with practical, actors or actual actors. The integration between the two, and I would say, you know what? I think we could have done without Jar Jar Binks. I don't think we would have lost that much.
No.
Because I would say the fucking T-Rex in Jurassic Park was a milestone, setting up for future films. Also, they were done by the same company, so who gives a shit? Then you have what CG character were they working on when they were filming the prequels? What character from another film franchise were they working on? Oh God, help me out, Mark! I can't think of it. Was
it Cookie Monster?
Yes, it was Cookie Monster.
Yes.
Give me precious cookie. The precious. I'm referencing Gollum, of course, which was, I'd say, played out better.
Smeagol.
Gollum.
You mean Smeagol?
Smeagol. Smog? Smorgasbord? We're back to Muppets again. We started with Cookie Monster, then we ended with the Swedish Chef. Thanks a lot.
Cookie Monster's in Muppets.
It's Jim Henson. So
Sesame Street, you fuck.
It's the same fucking guy that did it.
He shoved his hand up the same puppet's ass to make the same thing, Reggie.
Yeah, and he's playing Sam's now playing Team Fortress 2 in space. That must be so fun.
You can. They got space maps.
Yeah. Space engineers.
Yeah.
Again, I'm referencing fucking Prometheus. Make it stop. Don't make me talk about Prometheus. That's another black hole. Oh, yeah, now I mentioned Interstellar. There's another black hole I can sink into. Oh, God, someone help me. Okay, so I think the thread is a good idea, just to inform people.
Yeah.
But some people are being kind of dishonest when they show scenes of like the original Star Wars movie, and they're only standing in front of a blue screen. Because I know what scene they're filming, and you can't do that scene any other way except for a blue screen.
Yeah.
And same deal with the speeder chase on Endor. I think when they're flying through the forest and the speeders, like that's it. That's all the blue screen stuff you got from 1982.
Yeah.
1981. Really? Wow. Oh, you really proved a point there. You know how they filmed that scene? They went to the Redwood Forest in California. They got that rig, and they just walked and walked and walked. They just walked around with high-speed cameras, and they sped it up, and there you go.
Yeah.
That wasn't easy to do because they had like the storyboarded, and they had to set it up and everything. That was not fun. All right.
It looked cool though.
It looked cool, and I love how old ways of filmmaking still holds up today versus other stuff. Like I was watching Jesus Christ. I was watching Blade Runner recently, and it still looks so damn good.
If you can get your shots and your cinematography right, they'll last. They can still hold up.
Yeah, it looks genuine. The special effects and everything still looks good because they're actual objects. You're filming actual things. People aren't going to look any faker when you film them because they're actual real things. If you have a weird looking futuristic building and you actually construct it out of real parts, it's still going to look real.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a person's going to look real. But if you do it in CGI, there's so many different talents and technology that will be available for you at the time. So it's going to age horribly in that aspect. It still looks good. It's like I don't get why people want to remaster older episodes of Star Trek. Like they'll put an actual CGI planet in place of that little model planet.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks so out of place.
Yeah.
It's just there's with something like Star Trek. There's a quaintness to the low budget stuff. So
it's charming. In its own way.
I don't even think maybe upgrade the way the picture looks. I suppose. But I guess people have trouble watching stuff from back in the day.
I think they should, though. Just experience it for what it was.
Yeah, some people can't watch stuff in black and white.
Those are stupid people. Those are normies.
Those are... I don't know. My mom is a normie. I guess because she was, she grew up during that time, I suppose. She's more well acquainted because those are movies that her and her mom used to watch. And they passed that stupid, useless gene down to me, and now I like movies. Thanks a lot, Mom. And Grandma.
Should have played football, Mom.
So I think it's a mistake. I think the mistake with this thread is just trying to convince people who don't like the prequels to like the prequels now because the special effects were slightly more genuine than we actually thought.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone actually watched the behind the scenes stuff, we already know. And it actually makes me, honestly, it makes me hate the prequels more. It makes me hate the prequels on a level I never thought I would. Because they made something genuine look like shit.
Yeah.
They made hard work and genuine craftsmanship look awful.
Especially when you realize how many people worked on it to do that, and then...
Like, I've been bound... I feel like an asshole, but who really should feel like an asshole? It's George Lucas.
Yeah.
He's fucking $7 billion net worth. How the you know what you do with $7 billion? You know how much $7 billion is? Yes. That's a billion, then another billion, then another billion, then another billion. I'm not done yet. Then another billion. It's $5 billion fucking dollars. I would.
Wait, did you just say $7 billion? Then you counted $5 billion.
I meant that's $5 billion. I guess I got $7 billion because that's how many people are so many human beings are currently alive. So I guess that little tidbit got mixed up in my head. Once again, neurotransmitters aren't working right now. You know what I'd do with $5 billion?
You would do nothing.
I would
for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
You didn't have to.
I finally saw Chappie, guys.
Is it any good?
Well, it's worse than I thought it would be, if that's an answer. So much fucking worse than I thought it would be.
As soon as I heard that Die Antwoord was going to be a main character, I just lost interest in that.
Oh my god, it's a huge advertisement for those guys. They play so much of a bigger role than I thought they would.
And I hate her as a person, as an entertainer, as a voice even. I don't even want to... Die Antwoord can go to the bottom depths of the ocean. I will be much happier.
With Osama?
I mean, she can be alive. But just away. Alive, but away from me.
Like, they play their music in the movie, I'm assuming, because I've never heard anyone with a voice like that before.
Yeah.
Except when I listened to this character talk.
Yeah.
They are pretty much like the co-stars of this movie, and they want you to root for them, even though they're scumbags, and they work for scumbags. Like, no, don't root for these scumbags, root for these scumbags.
Yeah.
Like, you're not fucking Goodfellas, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still not even a rooting sort of thing. You just kind of feel a little bit of sympathy for this guy. You're kind of rooting for him, but you understand he's a scumbag. It's not fucking Goodfellas with robots. That sounds cool, I guess, but... Oh, God, it's just, the movie just irritates on multiple levels. I can't... and these are the alleged original films I'm supposed to root for.
Yeah.
Because it's not an adaptation or anything. It's not based off of a comic book or a TV show or anything. It's supposed to be. I'm supposed to root for it. I'm supposed to give it props just for that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been burned on too many original, awful fucking films in my lifetime to just give it props for that. That shouldn't be.
There's a lot of really shitty original artsy films that try to do new original shit and then no one ever hears about him. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Just like if you're doing everything from scratch or by yourself, you still have to put the same attributes into what makes a good movie to get a good movie.
Exactly. Hey, no one's gonna talk about Chappie ever again until like 8 months from now, when they do the Academy Awards. That's the only time anyone's ever gonna mention it again.
Yeah.
That's it.
The story. Diane was gonna come on stage with her crooked ass teeth.
The ending, everything about like the third act just completely made me lose faith in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. And the ending.
Do you want to just talk about it? You want to do spoiler warning?
Sure. If
I honestly don't care.
I really hope the people listening already watched the movie because I don't feel like recapping it because I remember talking about some of this stuff with Sam and just getting really upset. I'm so fucking upset with this movie. I may be over exaggerating for a comedic effect, but honestly, it kind of peeved me a bit because
he's really ticked off, folks.
Yeah, the film dwells into this whole other topic that wasn't really established that well, and it like hinges certain plot points on the specific thing because the way they control the older robots, or the robots that Wolverine designed, Hugh Jackman, is via conscious helmet, and it only works through the input of a human brain, actual genuine consciousness. So Chappie wants to know if he's actually conscious some way through the film. So he makes his own or something, builds his own. I don't remember, and then it works. That's not how it fucking. I would like if it to throw me for a curve.
Yeah.
In that sense, like, oh shit, he's not actually.
Even though he acts and talks and does all these things that are human, still deep down he still isn't.
Yeah, there are a number of reasons why it wouldn't work. It's not just him not being conscious. He's not fucking human though.
Yeah.
I mean, he can be conscious and not be human, but he's not human, so it wouldn't even fucking work. He's not even. You can put it on a dog and it will probably move a little bit, but it's because the interface is through a fucking brain, neural inputs. I don't know. I don't think it was explained that well, or maybe I'm missing some stuff. So then they use that concept to jump to a body transfer plot point for one of the characters who gets shot. And it's the guy who designed the robot. He gets just one bullet wound in his side, which they could have, taken to the hospital. Or, since he learned how to build the fucking helmet, maybe he can mend the wound himself, being a robot and all.
Yeah.
But, he drives him, he just takes a van, drives him to the place after Hugh Jackman shoots up their headquarters and kills Diane Wood, whatever her fucking name is.
Oh, good, she dies?
Yeah, she gets shot up and it's like, yes!
At least that happens.
The music's all dramatic, like it's all in slow motion. I'm like, no, I don't give a shit.
And it's your creepy rat face going.
Oh man. So he drives them to the base, and I don't know how Hugh Jackman is just sort of sitting there, shooting at everyone all by himself. There, it's weird.
He's Hugh Jackman. He's got to be doing something, actually.
Yeah. Even before then, he holds a gun up to the Indian guy. I forget his name. Who was in Slumdog Millionaire? Who plays the guy who designed Chappie's AI. He holds a gun to his head in front of everyone in the office space. In front of everyone. He just, he pushes his head against the desk. There's cubicles, but people can hear it, and some people can see it. And he has a gun to his head, and you could have just hid the gun before he got up. You're showing people, I'm just fake, it's just fake. I'm just messing around. It's not real. It's not loaded. It's not a fake gun.
Then immediately headshots some guy across the room. Pulls a sick no-scope. Gets a medal for it.
Oh, God. So anyway, they drive back to the robot base or whatever, where they're building the robots, and he transfers the Indian guy's consciousness to the robot. It fucking works. And then he's just a robot. And the body dies.
That's how the movie ends?
No, it doesn't know where it ends yet.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Just get ready for Indian Chappie.
Oh, God.
Coming next summer.
Like, you didn't have to turn him into a fucking robot. He doesn't have any genitals anymore. He can't eat anymore. I mean, he doesn't need to eat, but Jesus Christ. You could have just gone to a hospital or done it or mended it yourself. You're a fucking robot. You can barely do all this other shit. Look it up online. Do it via your head right now. Look it up online how to mend a bullet wound.
Oh, yeah.
Do it. And then previously in the movie, he copied Yolandi's or whatever, her consciousness to a flash drive or whatever. So at the end of the movie, you know, after they're done burying her, they hack into like the factory network and before they shut down the place, because you know this whole incident has made the company went up in smoke now, and no one wants to buy from them. Even though crime went down, there wasn't any need for this character to develop the AI. He just fucking wanted to.
Yeah.
The machines in the factory start building a robot, and I'm just like, okay, so they're just gonna build a robot that's gonna be her in the robot body. But that's not enough. That's apparently not fucking enough. They have to model the robot's face after Yolandi's face. That's her name, right?
I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, okay. I'm assuming it's whatever. And the final shot is just her robot face waking up, and that's it. The movie ends.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's such a cop out end of something waking up.
Yeah. Like, I don't like this character. I don't like anyone in this movie. The only person who makes any sense to a degree is Sigourney Weaver, who's just sits behind a desk and says lines every now and again, and that's it. I don't know why she's in this movie other than just to say, hey, Sigourney Weaver's in here, come see it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You got enough star power to pull in audiences.
Yeah, so they transfer her consciousness to a robot body, even though it's not really her consciousness. Her consciousness is fucking dead. It's a copy of her consciousness. So it's a robot conscious clone.
It's a robot trying to mimic how she was.
Yeah, it's not really... I'm just imagining, like, the perspective of that particular consciousness waking up in that robot body, and I'm supposed to cheer that on? That's a major... I mean, I'm just imagining being in that situation. I would have, like, a major fucking...
breakdown.
Yeah.
Like, mental sort of collapse if you just woke up and you're just a robot body.
Yeah, and it's not even my robot. It's not even my consciousness. My perspective is already gone. That's someone else's. That's a copy of... Fucking hell. Maybe it wants me to talk about it like that, but... I don't know. Like, it's like the music...
But you're not talking about it in a good way.
No.
You're just pissed off at it.
It doesn't make any sense. It's not... You can't just transfer... You can't just transfer consciousness like that. A robot consciousness in its form would not be the same as a human, because it's chemical, it's biological. Where with machines, I'm assuming it would be more like a hardware sort of thing, and I don't know if those things are compatible. They're two different things. You can't just suck that out. It is it. Yeah, I can make a copy of software, but I still need the hardware to run it. You know, and I can only run it on similar platforms. You know, but that isn't a similar platform. I mean, unless you made like a cybernetic equivalent of that particular person, then it would work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't know. I know it's science fiction, but they should have had some internal consistency with it, because it shouldn't have worked with Chappie, the consciousness helmet, and you shouldn't be able to make you can make a copy and you can transfer it, huh? I just stumbled upon that. Wow, it's amazing. Wow, fuck this movie. The only thing good about it was the effects and the music, which it's a dime a dozen nowadays. Oh, the music was alright.
You said the music was good?
I'm sorry, the soundtrack was good. Their music was awful.
Yeah.
It was like the score for it was more like the sort of 80s sort of, you know, classic science fiction 80s movie sort of synth sort of score. And I'm probably just biased because Hans Zimmer did it, but you know, whatever. He worked with other people on it, so whatever. I don't care. So that was Chappie. I'm not excited for anything that Neil Blomkamp has to work on next, and I don't know why anyone was rooting for him before then. It's just because of District 9. Like, that was the one good thing he did. So he's going the ways of the Wachowskis.
Yeah.
The Wachowskis was more of a slow burn. M. Night Shyamalan was more of a kind of a slow burn too. But
M. Night Shyamalan had a good movie.
Yeah.
And that was really good, and then he just they just got like worse and worse.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like, Sixth Sense was really good.
Yeah.
Leading the Water.
Yeah, I mean, he had Signs in between and Unbreakable, and that was all right for some audiences, but it was more...
Signs was kind of...
Yeah. he kind of just coasted off of. He's now coasting off of his bad reputation because people are just going to see it because of that. Mm-hmm. But with the Wachowskis, I think people just don't want to see it.
Yeah.
You know, and and I think this might be happening with Neil Blomkamp because like he had a all right run, you know, but I don't know who's writing these films. I don't know if he's writing them, but some of the character decisions, some of their interactions, I cannot wrap my head around. Mm-hmm. And some of that was present in District 9 to a small degree, but this, none of it's refined. All of it's awful and poorly thought out, and just weird and bizarre and inconsistent. None of these, you know, science fiction concepts are executed well at all. Mm. You know, it just kind of blows. It robo-blows. Yeah. I mean, the concept of taking a child-like thing and having it being raised by gangsters and having it also be a robot, that's a cool concept. You know, and the only good thing that came out of that was when Chappie was robbing people's cars, because the other actor in the movie, or rapper, I suppose you can call him. I don't even call him an actor. He's like, okay, people have been taking Daddy's cars, and I want you to take them back from me. So he just runs up to people in their cars. Did you take Daddy's car? That's nice. You can't take Daddy's car. And he just throws them out of the car. And it's just a robot carjacking someone is the funniest fucking thing ever. I'm like, I love this part of the movie. This is gold. I love this. And beyond that, just...
Yep.
I wanted to transfer my conscience to a different movie.